What's up, everybody? This is The Run with Manny Wilson, who always brings you the best topics in sports. Today, I got some NFL topics, and I had to bring a guest. He's a good friend of mine, Eric Cloeter. He is a statistical guy, and he is going to help me talk about these NFL topics. So let's get straight into it, man. Odell Beckham just got this huge new contract. I think it was like $95 million for 5 years.
Yeah, 65 guaranteed.
Yeah, 65 guaranteed. Is he worthy of this? Does he deserve it?
I think he is. If you think about it, he's arguably one of the top two receivers in the NFL today.
Definitely.
If he had a great quarterback, like if you think about Antonio Brown, he has Ben Roethlisberger throwing to him. Julio Jones, he has Matt Ryan.
Come on now. Come on.
Go
ahead.
No disrespect to those receivers. I'm just saying, imagine, because Odell Beckham Jr., he has Eli Manning, who's diminishing a little bit each year. He's getting older.
Yeah.
His stats are going down a little bit. He's throwing more interceptions. He's not as efficient. I'm just saying, imagine how much more efficient and how much better he would be if he had a good quarterback throwing to him. No disrespect to all those other receivers. I'm just trying to make a point for OBJ.
Yeah, that's true. I can agree with that. And some people might say he's not, because he got into a few situations with, you know, the whole boat incident and the substance in the hotel room. We don't know what it is, but he got into a few mistakes. He made a few mistakes as a young kid when, you know, his first few years in the league, and a lot of people discredit him for that. But I think this is also going to help him grow as a person. And this dude can ball. He can ball, man. He's a straight-up ball player. Obviously one of the best receivers in the league, like you said. This man broke multiple records in the league. His rookie year, he's definitely worth that $95 million, 65 guaranteed.
Yeah, and if you go back, even when you talked about like his off the field incidents, I'm the type of guy that all the off the field stuff that goes on, if you're productive on the field or on the court or whatever you do, that stuff shouldn't play into your contracts and how you present yourself to a organization. Yes, that's plays a small part in it, but if all that stuff is on the side and it's not affecting your performance and your job, then it shouldn't matter.
Definitely. That's true. Well, the thing with the boat incident is it did mess with his performance. It was a day before the playoff game, or that weekend before, whatever it was. It was a few days before that playoff game, and he was out on a boat with like Trey Songz and some other stars. And then the game, when game time came along, he was dropping passes and everything. And NFL people got at him for that. A lot of journalists and reporters, they got on him for that.
I totally forgot it was right before a playoff game.
Yeah, it was right before a playoff game. And they got on him for that because it's like, is this the way you're really preparing for one of the biggest games in your career? But other than that, I still believe, you know, it's completely worth it, man. He's one of the fastest players in NFL history to reach 100 career receptions. And he's an exciting player to watch. And when you think about someone who's getting that much money, think about the team. If Odell Beckham wasn't on the Giants, come on now. Who's watching the Giants if Odell isn't on there?
Yeah.
You can take Antonio Brown off the Steelers, and people will still watch the Steelers. You can take Julio Jones off the Falcons, and people will still watch the Falcons. But if you take Odell Beckham off, well, maybe now because they got Saquon Barkley. But before Saquon Barkley, if you would have took Odell Beckham off the Giants, they weren't going to win anything, and nobody damn sure was going to watch him.
Yeah, that's a good point, too, is his name. He's got a big name. He's a superstar. A lot of people love him. He's a big role model to people. And that's what your organization wants to have as a player, no matter how much of a pain he can be, depending on the certain person. Not saying Odell Beckham Jr. is a pain to deal with or anything. It's just
he bring that team life, man. He bring that team life. He's so excited. Ever since that one-handed catch, his rookie year, that was the thing that put him on the map. Yeah. He was already good. He was already one of the most athletic receivers. But ever since that one-handed catch, that was just like the cherry on top, because it made everybody open their eyes and say, this dude is the real deal. Like, this dude is going to be a problem.
What was the Giants' record last year? Wasn't it, like, really bad?
They didn't get in the playoffs. Odell got hurt.
Yeah, I know
he got hurt. And they didn't even get in the playoffs. But his rookie year.
Yeah, I'm asking that because, like, I would go around campus and stuff and see, like, Giants hats and stuff, and I'm like, And then I'm like,
oh, jeez.
Aren't they doing terrible this year? And then I realize it's because they're Odell Beckham Jr. fans.
You walk around with Lions hats and Lions hoodies, but Lions are... that's another discussion.
But that's a different thing.
We'll get into that.
Don't get me riled up.
To move on to the next topic, Jerry Jones, he wants the NFL preseason to only last 2 weeks, and he wants the regular season to include 18 games instead of 16 games. Is this an adjustment that the league needs to make, or no?
I think the league needs to make an adjustment. I just don't think it's what that should be. I'll give you something that might be kind of weird, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay,
I don't see the point in the preseason. I understand, like, it's a way to see, like, people who aren't necessarily on the roster. It's to give them a chance to make their jump and find a team for quarterbacks, like what quarterback you want to run with. But it just seems like, to me, when it comes down like the running backs and the offensive defensive line, it's just another chance for them to get hurt.
Yeah,
before
that's
it
true.
even starts.
Jerry Jones actually said that too. He actually mentioned when they asked him about it, it's a way to limit concussions because people do get hurt in the preseason. And I agree with the preseason part. 2 week long preseason, that's good enough. If worst comes to worst, just have multiple games within the 2 weeks. Most of the superstar guys aren't going to play in the preseason.
Yeah.
When that game time comes, when the regular season starts, that's when business starts. Now, my whole thing for this, he claimed that the base of why it's obvious of wanting more football games is because of more revenue. That's simple. That's very simple. I think anybody could have thought that's really the reason behind why Jerry Jones wanted to do it. But he said for the players alone, it will provide $1 billion. I'm not sure if he's talking about the players on the Cowboys or the players throughout the whole entire league. But when I heard that, I thought, okay, if the players alone are going to get $1 billion, how much more would Jerry Jones get if you add that 2 more games? It made me think, because we know Jerry Jones is all about the money. We know he's all about the money. He not caring about what fans and all of that thing. He's all about his money, man. I looked into it, and I seen the average price in AT&T Stadium for the Dallas Cowboys football games is $110. Now multiply that $110 by 80,000 stadium seats. This is just seats. This is not talking about the people who go to the game and have to stand up. This is just the seats. I was like, if I was Jerry Jones in that situation, I want that change too. I want that much more money as well. 2 more games.
Yeah, the business side of it totally makes sense.
Definitely.
And especially a guy that thinks about money, I feel like the players wouldn't be too opposed to it. Maybe like for health reasons and stuff.
Go ahead.
Like two more games in the regular season, it would probably mean more to a player's body in football than any other sport. But
Definitely.
If the money's there, I feel like most of the players will be willing to do it.
And I thought about that as well. I thought about it from the players' perspective, fans' perspectives, and as a fan, I love to see 2 more games. I love to see 2 more games because that's another chance to compete and. Maybe teams get in the playoffs. Maybe teams get put out of the playoffs early with those extra 2 games. I don't know how they would make that happen. But when I thought about it from a player's perspective, every time you step on the field, there's always a risk of getting hurt. 2 more games, I can't really see the big deal of, no, don't do 2 more games because it's too much bruising and beating on their bodies. Don't do it because really anybody can get hurt anytime they play the game of football. It's supposedly a rough sport. But that's only if make it aggressive again because they've been making it fairly soft. If they keep it aggressive and tone all of this soft kitty cat calls down, then maybe it can be risky, but I think they'll be able to figure it out. When you go to the preseason and I don't even really watch the preseason like that, especially because it's not like it's a reward for any team who's undefeated in the preseason. But however, it will carry on. It does carry on. If your team is doing good in the preseason, most likely they will, keep that high morale and keep going on toward the season versus a team who's like 0 whatever in the preseason. I really doubt they're just going to flip a switch all of a sudden. After all of this football, man, we done talked about Cowboys, Giants. What teams are you expecting in the Super Bowl this year?
gonna flip my page real quick.
Go ahead. Take your time. You know I got my team. You know what team I'm rolling with.
All right, so the AFC was kind of up in the air because...
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I got a sleeper for you, and you might think I'm crazy. But I really think this team might surprise some people.
Oh, my God.
Houston Texans.
No, not in the Super... go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and explain. I'm going to let you explain, and I want to hear what you got to say first.
Because Deshaun Watson last year, before he had his injury...
Amazing.
He was tearing up the NFL.
Amazing.
He was arguably maybe one of the best quarterbacks that season. During that time, he was one of the best. Yeah,
it was between him and Carson Wentz and Brady for the MVP. If everyone would have stayed healthy in terms of Deshaun Watson and Carson Wentz, I still think Carson Wentz would have got it. But Deshaun Watson would have been up there. He would have got Rookie of the Year for sure.
Oh, yeah. He's going to come back. He's going to have a breakout season. He's going to pick up right where he started. I just think that DeAndre Hopkins, I think he's an underrated receiver because he didn't really have anybody throwing to him. I mean, name a good quarterback that threw to him.
I can't really think of one off the top of my head.
Exactly.
So I agree with you.
So I think that DeAndre Hopkins is going to thrive. That whole offense will thrive. And then, I don't know, is J.J. Watt back and healthy?
I believe he will be.
Yeah, I think he will be at some point this season. If he's back, he always makes a huge impact, elevates that defense to where it needs to be. So I just think that the Houston Texans can be a sleeper.
I agree a little bit, but let me tell you what I got for the AFC. In terms of the AFC, man, when I thought about it, I couldn't think of any other team besides the Patriots, man. The Patriots are top dog. They've been top dog in the AFC. They're like the Warriors of the NFL right now because they've been there and they're not. I was so surprised when they lost to the Eagles, especially without Carson Wentz. So I see the Patriots getting back there. I do like that you mentioned the Texans and Deshaun Watson because I like Deshaun Watson. He's a great quarterback. He's very smart, got a great IQ. In terms of his full team, playing the full team of the New England Patriots, I don't think the Patriots are going to lose. Honestly, Texans weren't even in my top 3.
Really?
In the AFC, they weren't even in my top 3.
I wouldn't expect that because I just knew I knew it was going to be a crazy thing to think of, but then I'm like, if Deshaun Watson comes back, he's going to go off. If J.J. Watt comes back, the whole offense will be good because Deshaun Watson, the way that he can conduct an offense, he can throw. He's an accurate thrower. He can keep the play alive. He can make a play on his own. Like, he can conduct an offense in a way that better than even Cam Newton can do.
Cam Newton had a rough season as well. But for my top 3 in the AFC, I had Patriots, Steelers, and the Jags. Look, the Jags are good. Jags was my sleeper team. Okay, they got pretty far last year with Blake Bortles. I'm like, with Blake Bortles, nobody's seen Blake Bortles dominating people like that. Nobody's seen that coming.
That's the thing, though, is the reason why I didn't have the Jags. So, like, I had the same thing. I had the Texans, the Patriots, and the Steelers, and then, like, Jackson was right up under there. And I was like, Blake Bortles, like, yeah, we saw what he can do in the playoffs, but, like, how long can he do it for? That's true. That's my thing. And then
that's why I went with the Patriots.
Yeah, because I'll give you something on the Patriots. Have they, correct me if I'm wrong, have they ever made it to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row? Actually, they have. I just contradicted myself. But, like, I think they've only done it once.
Well, they can do it again.
I think they've only done it once. And the controversy with the Belichick stuff, it may not play a part.
It's not.
It may not play a part. It may be the whole thing, but I just think that Tom Brady's getting older. Yes, he's being Father Time.
Tom Brady is a machine.
He's a machine. I just think this year won't be his year.
He's getting another MVP this year. I'm gonna just call that out. Actually, I just lied. I just lied.
I'm telling you, you think I'm crazy now, but if Deshaun Watson's healthy, I think he'll be the MVP.
I can agree with that. Especially if he starts off the season and finishes the season how he did last year. Yeah. Definitely MVP. All right, man. What you got for the NFC? Let me hear this.
The NFC.
Let's hear this.
So my sleeper, you already know what I'm going to say. My sleeper is the Detroit Lions.
Sleeper.
Yeah. So how I did this is I picked a sleeper and then I picked who I thought was going to do it.
Jeez.
So last year they started off great until they got robbed by the Falcons.
Like they do every year. They start off winning the first few games every year, and they fall right off the map. And you know it's true, man.
I know it's true. I'm just saying one of these years they just have to break the curse. I think it's this year.
Never.
We got a new coach, a defensive-minded coach who will elevate that defense.
Oh, jeez.
Which a lot remains to be seen with that coach. I'm just saying, like, he came off the Patriot system. He may have a little of the Belichick gene in him. He may not.
Geez.
He may be able to handle a team. Not as good as Belichick, but by any means. But, like, he might. He's going to elevate the Lions, which isn't very hard to do. And then I'll give you who I think will win the NFC. You're going to be very happy about this one. I say it's the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
As much as it pains
that's
me to
what
say
I'm talking about.
As much as it pains
I'm glad
me to
you
say
realized that.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm glad you realized that, but I got a surprise for you as well. I got a surprise for you. So you might have think because I'm a Falcons fan, I'm sure you might have thought I picked Falcons right off the back without a question.
I thought you were going to avoid picking the Falcons just to keep it interesting.
Nope, not doing that. What I did instead, I did pick the Falcons, but I also picked a few other teams, and mostly the team who I thought would give us the most problem, which is the Eagles. I'm a little worried about the Eagles. I'm not going to lie, because they still got the same exact team, and they added Michael Bennett. But the Saints were also in the top 3, but I'm not too worried about the Saints, because last time Atlanta played the Saints, it was a good game, but Atlanta won. So I was happy about that. And we won 2 out of the last 3 times we played in the regular season. So I'm like, you know what? That gives us an advantage. And we're still looking good. We still got just about the same players as well. So, and then I thought about this Eagles game in the playoffs. I'm like, we only lost by 5. It was a good game. We didn't get, like, tortured or anything. We lost by 5 to the champions.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I couldn't be too upset.
I know last year you were running home with that. We lost to the champions.
I mean, that was the top dog in the NFL. They champions. So I'm like, hey, it is what it is. It's okay with me. We lost to the champions, so I looked at it as we get another shot next year. We'll play them in a regular season, or we'll meet them in the playoffs, and we'll get them. We're going to make sure we get them this time. Because we had a little bit of inconsistencies, and we had a new offensive coordinator. It was his first year coaching a brilliant offense, but he just didn't know how to do it with all the swagger that our OC knew how to do it with. So this is the second year. We already let him know, like, look, you're not about to have us out here looking bad again. He's in a hot seat. If he don't have another great season, or if he doesn't pull off a great offensive season, like the one we had when we went to the Super Bowl, it's going to be some changes that's going around in Atlanta. But in terms of coming out the NFC, I predicted Atlanta. I did predict Atlanta because we're going to beat the Eagles next time we play them. I feel like it's going to be Atlanta and the Eagles in the NFC Championship. And then Atlanta is going to pull it off. Not a blowout. Not smothered. Nobody's going to get spanked really bad. But Atlanta is going to win a game. I don't know how, but they're going to somehow win. And then it's going to be the Patriots and Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl again. And the Atlanta Falcons
are going to blow a lead.
No, stop it. The Atlanta Falcons are going to capitalize on what they should have finished 2 years ago. And then that is going to be history.
You know what I'm surprised about? We haven't even mentioned the Vikings. The Vikings they're way overhyped.
Vikings aren't doing anything, man. I'm not worried about that. The Vikings wasn't even supposed. They was not supposed to be there. Everybody know Drew Brees had that in the bag. But that last drive that the Saints put on, Drew Brees put it in the bag. He put the bow on top, and his own teammate came over and cut the bow on accident. And then they lost. He blew it. His own teammate blew it. Defensive guy.
I'm just saying that because I've been talking to friends and like a bunch of people, and then they're like, "Oh, Kirk Cousins is in now. We got a solid quarterback.
He's better. He's better than Case Keenum."
Here's the thing. I think that the Vikings, they'll be they'll be very good and like give them 2 years. This year it's not gonna be pretty because think about it. Whenever a quarterback, I don't have a specific example in my mind, but you see a trend where a quarterback will switch systems, and it's an adjustment period where he has to figure out what the plays are, how the system works, and then his efficiency goes down because he's trying to figure things out.
Definitely.
It's a lot.
True. It's a new offense and everything, so I can see where there could be some difficulties. Now, I'm going to say this, and then this will be the end of the show. I just got to go back after the Lions, man. I don't know what in the world you were thinking. Is them a sleeper? All I'm going to say, I'm not going to get back into it. All I'm going to say is the Detroit Lions are going to keep sleeping. They're going to keep sleeping like they've been doing for the last 30 years. They just going to keep sleeping. That's all I'm going to say. They're your sleeper team. They're going to keep sleeping. Lions like to sleep, so that's what they're going to have to do for the next few years anyway.
Matthew Stafford is a very solid quarterback. If you look at his numbers, last year he actually had better numbers than Matt Ryan, who you love so much. He had more completions. He had a better completion percentage. He had around 500 more passing yards than Matt Ryan. But which does it make a big deal? No.
You know what? I'm going to end all of that, all the statistical stuff you just stated. With one question. And this is the only thing. Why do we play the game? Well, actually, it's 2 questions. I'm going to ask this question, and then I have one more after. Why do we play the game? To win, right? We play the game of any sport to win. Now, you just listed all those beautiful stats. But did this man even get in the playoffs? No.
Yes.
Not this year?
Not this year, but he's
not last year. Not the year before that. He ain't been in the playoffs in a long time, and he's not about to get in the playoffs for a few years.
It's been like 2 years.
It's been
since
too long.
Been in the playoffs.
Man, when the last time they got past the second round?
Okay, good
point.
Never.
Here's
the thing, you're like griping me acting like, oh, Matt Ryan's a winner and stuff compared to Matthew Stafford. He blew a 28-3 lead.
He didn't blow it. The defense blew it.
What?
The team. It's overall team.
The team did it. He was a part of the team.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in with me on The Run with Manny Wilson. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at _Manny30 to follow the latest sports updates as well as the latest episodes of The Run. And last but not least, you all have a great day today.